All right. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Just coming in live for a minute. Just got finished doing some freight broker training for beginners. So just wanted to come in and touch bases with you guys on the freight broker side. I rarely do freight broker trainings. So I wanted to come in and touch bases live. I got two people in here now. Good evening. Just do a general Q&A. We spoke about lane quotes tonight in the freight broker training for beginners class. This is a live on the channel, freight broker 101 training for beginners channel, to answer some Q&A some of you guys may have about the freight broker in general. What are the requirements? What are the pre-requirements? What are the general requirements? And then bonds, insurance, UCRs, BOC3s, getting shippers, getting carriers, broker shipper packets, broker carrier packets, things of that nature. So those are the things. What's all included in our particular training? What are our price points? What's our website for the enrollment in the ongoing training? Any FAQs you want to answer on our site? I'll put the links there as well, so you can go answer the FAQs. For those of you who are aspiring to be in the transportation industry as a logistics provider, as a freight broker, if you will, you may have some questions. What is my role as a freight broker? What do I do? You are a logistics provider. You are the person who arranges for the transportation and the movement of the freight. So tonight we had a class on lane quotes, where if you get a shipper, if you get a response from a shipper, either from you communicating with them through email, text, phone, visiting them at their facilities, and they ask you for either a quote, or they give you a target rate for a particular lane, and they want to see if you can work with that, meaning that you can pay your carrier the broker to carrier spot market, and then be able to make your margins or your profit from that amount. Say, for example, 1,600 for a particular lane. That's about, I don't know, 500 miles, right? So it's about, and the equipment type is a drive-in. So you would need to know certain things. Certain things you would ask the shipper, so that you can make sure that that carrier will be paid accordingly and fairly, and the at least a competitive rate that the spot market yields to the carrier. Okay, so those are the things that we discuss, and we go over certain questions you ask the shipper when you are bidding on a lane, not a target rate, but you're doing what's called a lane quote in order to get a tender, win a low tender. So those things as well. So if you have any questions, if you are aspiring to be a freight broker and you are at a certain area where you have a question or a concern that you want to ask, I'm here right now on the live. We just completed, I would say, about an hour ago. So Chitaka Weekly, I'm glad I caught you. Hey, do you have a question, Miss Weekly? Or Miss, yeah, Chitaka, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hey, Mr. Charles, glad I caught you. Well, I'm glad you caught me too. Just got finished with about an hour and a half, hour 45-minute freight broker training. So want to make sure that I come in, and this year I am going to make a more concerted effort after every student training, member training on our portal. I am going to come into the live and do a live Q&A or a live general question. So any questions, Shitaka, or anyone for that matter? We got a small group tonight for it's Friday. We are currently in a winter storm right now. I'm in Virginia, the southeastern part of the state. in what's called the Hampton Roads area. So Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina are due to have about 4 to 6 inches of snow, and we're preparing for that, possible power outages and everything. So I was fortunate enough to have the training done with power. So we went over lane quotes, so things of that nature. So any questions? Chitaka, you're the only one that's communicating, typing in the chat. So are you becoming a broker? Are you interested in brokering? Are you looking to start a freight brokerage or a broker agent or a trucking company or dispatching? What are you looking to, where are your interests located? So we can start a conversation there. The subject of our training tonight was lane quotes, shipper lane quotes. So as a broker, remember you guys have 2 customers, your shipper and then your carrier. So you are a broker. So you have, how long has your broker license or your broker authority been active? And not only that, but do you have any customers yet? So since you are engaging, I will ask follow-up questions just to see where you are. You are a brokerage. Says I am a broker. So how long has your authority, your broker license been active, and do you have any customers? So that is what I'm asking you, just to see where you are and what techniques and strategies too. I had so much overhead, I had to readjust. No customers. Okay. How long has your authority been active? So you don't have any customers yet. Since last July. Okay. So you kind of like let it age a little bit while you maintained your bond premium for the year. So July, August, September, October, 7 months. July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 6 months. So last July. Okay, so what techniques are you using? What is your niche, as people say? I don't know how to pronounce it. I need to get a job. Okay, so you are a job as what? As in like under another brokerage as an agent, or you just saying a general 9 to 5 so you can cover expenses right now while you're waiting to build your freight brokerage? So I'm trying to put in perspective of what it is you're exactly asking. So say you need a job as a broker, or you need a job getting a customer to move the loads. So you have your authority. So yes to cover expenses. Okay, so you need to go back into the workforce to cover expenses while you are and sometimes that happens. You never know. You may have gotten in a little bit over your head, or you may have came in at a time that wasn't really prevalent to getting shippers as a broker. So sometimes that happens. That's called life, right? So, but it's no reason to give up, right? You still can focus, getting customers, getting shippers, putting your back office infrastructure together, right? Which means your possible load boards, possible TMS systems, transportation management software, possible packets that you need to design for your 2 customers as a broker, your broker shipper packet, which contains certain things, and your broker carrier packet, which contains certain things. So yeah, that I find that not to be true. I've called out to shippers; they're not needing any brokers. A lot of shippers do need brokers to help them with their issues of capacity. Right. Currently, we have truck shortages. We have containers that are congested at the ports or stored on the cargo ships off the coast of the country, either the East Coast on the Atlantic Ocean or the West Coast on the Pacific Ocean. So freight still needs to be moved. The shippers you may have called may not need brokers, or they may even be what's called customer routed. Okay, but a lot of shippers do need capacity. They have trucking capacity issues. That's one of the reasons why they either work through brokers or they work with direct carriers who have a number of assets to support their capacity need. Okay, so think of it along those lines to put yourself in the mind of a shipper. I spoke to last week. I had one shipper in the northeast part of Ohio, and that shipper will be coming on our live trainings for our members either next week late or the following week after. Okay, to discuss certain things. I generally try to bring shippers on, so to give you, the brokers, a perspective from the shipper so that you can know how to attack them. Like I said, I get all that. My website, package, TMS, load boards, QuickBooks, Grasshopper for my virtual business phones and everything. So you just need to put in the work. Have you considered, while you're working the job, have you considered bringing on agents, freight broker agents under your brokerage, contract them for a percentage of the commission that you guys make from a load, from the movement of a load, based off of their experience or based off of whether they come with a book of business. For example, if you bring in a freight agent under your brokerage to work for you, making cold calls, getting shippers and things like that, that has no experience, then that would be a 50-50 commission split. If you have an agent coming over from another location, from another brokerage, and let's say they bring a customer or maybe 3 customers, right? Then that could be like a 60-40, 70-30 commission split, 70 to the agent, 30 to the broker. What's up, Mike? Thugsy Mac, how's it going? Missed you in the training. You're probably a very busy man, so I get it. So yeah, you said I was thinking about that, the agent part. Be careful with the contract. I'm working on a one of my brokers produced a and I got it right here, a freight broker agency agreement. So an agent agreement, right, between the broker and the agent. They outline certain things. So I'm going to make it a template and put it in our Freight Broker 101 members portal. So, but yeah, consider that too. So that way, your brokerage, Shitaka, it ages while you are doing your 9 to 5, and you got someone working on your. Now they won't be a W-2 employee of you; they will be a 1099 independent contractor. That way, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. And then your brokerage continues to age while you are covering your expenses, of normal life, of course, and then potentially bringing shippers on. So there's always a way, The only time that there's no way if we don't do anything, right? So, but yeah, tonight we discussed shipper lane quotes, shipper target rates. So there's a difference. Shipper target rates are when shippers give you a rate that for a lane that they want you to agree to, and if you can work with it, then you work with it. The lane quotes is they'll give you a lane to quote, and then you ask them a series of questions to see if that meets your criteria. Now, the margins that brokers charge, the percentage that they make off their for their service for brokering freight, between 15 and 20% is a fair. I've seen brokers go as low as 10. Like if you're brand new, you don't have any experience, and you 10% of whatever the lane pays, then you can work with that shipper, that customer. Thuggy said, you've been driving on the road, bro. I'm going to tap in. Okay, so you back in the truck. Either you're back in the truck or you never left it. I'm not quite sure, Mike. So, but yeah, those are the things that we discussed tonight. We did some Q&A. We had one of our students. He applied for his authority back in October. Let it age for a minute, and then he started making calls January 1st. So today is the 21st. 3 weeks later, he got a shipper. So he has a major shipper, and he was asking us questions on how to. It is a drayage shipper, short distance. Drayage means it's going short distance, 30 miles out, 30 miles back, so to speak. And he was asking us questions on how to handle bidding and supplying capacity to the shipper, because obviously the shipper needs capacity. That's the reason why they're reaching out to brokers, because they can't handle it. So, but that's what we were talking about. And then another one of our other brokers who has 3 shippers, and then another broker the other day had a shipper that paid them before they give them the paperwork. So we got several new brokers that we have in our trainings who have shippers who are moving freight, that can put you on to the learning curve of what to expect as a broker, the things they went through, the pain points that they overcame, the obstacles that they hurdled to end up where they are today, so that you can decide if you want to pursue this as a long-term career. You can hear their stories and their experiences of how they spoke to the shippers, what they said, how they said it, and how they were able to win that shipper's business, right? And now they're getting load tenders and moving freight. They're funneling the freight through their TMS systems and load boards, acquiring carriers, getting carriers set up with their brokerage by running that whole onboarding process, whether it's manually through the emails or whether it's through an onboarding system like My Carrier Packets or RMIS, Register Monitoring Insurance Service, which is a onboarding software for property management and transportation companies. Okay, so these are some of the basic things that we cover in Freight Broker 101 training for beginners. Okay, we also have a dispatching side, but this is the Freight Broker YouTube channel, and I have about 3,900 members, which is kind of good because I don't put as much, which I need to, focus and time on this channel as I do the other channel, but I need to parallel and balance the time on the channel so they can grow in unison. But this is a Freight Broker 101 training for beginners. I've put some links in the in this chat stream that's going on right now. Just wanted to touch bases with you guys tonight. We normally have Freight Broker live trainings on our Zoom calls every Tuesday and Friday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and those are for members only. But oftentimes we will bring a guest in every so often. Okay, but tonight, I don't think we had a guest in tonight. We had about 26, 27 people in tonight. So we were listening to the experiences of the brokers. We were listening to me mentioning about the lane quotes. I brought up load boards. We did an example of how you would produce the quote based off of certain parameters. So we got real granular so that you can actually see specifically certain things that you can use as a broker when you are dealing with the shippers. So if there are no more questions and comments, I see there's 10 people in here. www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com, under the Freight Broker header at the top. You can look at all the options for our Freight Broker training, our Freight Broker course. We have an FAQ link on that page as well. We have our Zoom trainings on that page and all the the 3 price points on that page. So if you are someone who needs or is interested in becoming a freight broker, getting involved in the transportation industry as a logistics provider, someone who arranges for the transportation and the movement of freight. That is the literal definition of a freight broker. If you are interested in that, you can consider our training, our platform, to see if it's a good fit for you. It may not be a good fit for you, and that's perfectly fine. I would just be satisfied if you do your due diligence and reach out to different so-called teachers, instructors who claim to train about freight brokering, and make sure that you get the best information as possible. Number one, make sure you get a hold of the person. I've been discovering that when people call me, they are surprised that I pick the phone up, which makes me wonder, does anyone else pick the phone up? Did you say RMIS? Yes, RMIS system. Yeah, so that is one of the top 2 onboarding systems, Elaine Wilson, for onboarding carriers to brokerages is called the RMIS, Register Monitoring. You can Google that too, and it'll give you the information. Register Monitoring Insurance System or Service, I believe. System or service. I forget what the S stands for. And it is an onboard platform where it onboards the carriers to the brokerage in a faster capacity, faster rate, frequency, as opposed to the broker sending out the broker carrier agreement as a PDF attached to an email to the carriers or the carrier's dispatcher. They fill that out and send it back. With the onboarding system, RMIS, and another one is called My Carrier Packet. With the onboarding systems, the broker will send the carrier through the phone or the carrier's dispatcher a link to their website portal to their RMIS or whatever onboarding system they're using at the time. The person who is on the other end who receives that link, they will click it. It opens up to their portal. They will put in their DOT or MC number, and it automatically populates because most information is a matter of public record. If you put in somebody's MC or DOT number, that's a matter of public record. All the data, who they are, what their number is, what the name of the company is, their address, phone number, things of that nature. It populates automatically most of the common free data or public record type of data. And then the dispatcher or the carrier themselves, if they don't have a dispatcher, they'll fill in the blanks to do the onboarding process a little faster. It's about 10, 15 minutes as opposed to about 30 minutes with the paper way of doing a onboarding process with the paperwork. Okay. So that's what that is, Elaine. RMIS, Registered Monitoring Insurance System or Service. I forget again what the S stands for, but it's an online onboarding packet. It makes the process to onboard carriers quicker. Now you still have to upload, the carrier or the dispatcher who represents the carrier still has to upload the supporting onboarding documents. So every broker who wants to onboard a potential carrier to be set up with that brokerage needs vetting documents to determine whether to onboard that carrier. Those vetting documents obviously are a copy of the MC authority of that carrier, a copy of their certificate of insurance, a copy of their W-9. And in most carriers, if the carrier is using what's called a factoring company, then they will do a credit check on the broker, right? They'll send a credit application, do a credit check. That gets sent back. The broker doesn't keep the credit application. They send that back so that the carrier's factoring company can assess the broker, to determine if you are credit worthy or factorable. Once that happens, then the factoring company shoots over what's called an NOA, notice of assignment. And then the payment process will be that the broker, will assign payment from you, the broker, to the carrier, to you, the broker, to the factoring company, because now the carrier is the client now of the factoring company, this third-party financial institution that finances cash flow for the carriers. That's what factoring companies do. They purchase the invoices. When the carriers deliver freight, they get a copy of the assigned BOL, a bill of lading, now turns into what's called a POD, proof of delivery. This is the invoice that the carriers use to get paid. Carriers get paid one of three ways: directly from the customers, if they're running loads directly with the customers; brokers, if they have a brokered load; or the factoring companies, if they are factoring those invoices. Okay, so those are the three ways that carriers get paid. Okay. Yes, people will deals. Yes, so appreciate the kind words, Mike. I was just ready to come over to Maryland, but the snowstorm hit, and I said, you know what? You may not have been there anyway, but since you're driving. So are there any more questions? I've been on here longer than I expected, actually. 24 minutes, but that's fine. I wanted to touch bases with the broker side on the YouTube channel to do a live just to say hello, Happy New Year. It's a new year, new you. Changes should be made every year. There should be a different change for the better for everyone. So Fresh Fly EJ. Okay, Fresh Fly EJ. I have a shipper that wants to work with me, but he said I need to be a bonded broker so he can hand over obligations. Okay. Yeah, so as a broker, you will be, if you are applying to be a broker, one of the things you do need is to have a bond, either a surety bond or a trust fund in the amount of $75,000. That proves financial responsibility on your part as a broker, because if you breach the contract between you and the shipper can file a claim against your bond. If you breach the contract between you and the carrier can file a claim against your bond. So the bond protects the two clients. Remember, the broker has two customers, the shipper, which is a customer, and the carrier that you are brokering the freight to move, the customer. So yes, Fresh Fly EJ, you do need a, I don't know why he said it like that, bonded broker, but everyone who gets a broker license, before the license is issued, you have to have a bond on file. The FMCSA has to have a filing filed with them. It is a form. It is either the form BMC 84 for the surety bond or the form BMC 85, which is the trust fund. And that has to be filed by the bond company to FMCSA to show FMCSA by the bond company. Like say, hey, this person who applied to be a broker has met all the qualifications to have a surety bond or a trust fund by our company. And we filed these forms proving that. So he wants you to have a customs bond. So you're dealing with something entirely different. So you're dealing with customs, international stuff coming into the country. So you're on a different level. So that's even, I would reach out to FMCSA, make sure that you meet all the qualifiers for the customs bond, see what the additional qualifications for those are, and then go from there. So you're dealing with customs bond, maybe port work also. So, okay. So you may be dealing with the containers, customs coming in, because the Port Authority, containers, cargo ships coming into the ports, into the docks, they come in from international waters into domestic, into the domestic country, right? So there is a certain procedure that happens, like maritime, UCC, those things happen. So customs, so you may be dealing with that. So do your research on that. If you get that completed like it's required to be completed, you could be looking at some real serious money. So be mindful of that. Fresh Fly EJ. Okay. Anyone else? General questions, comments, concerns. Again, our training is for those who know very little, if anything, about freight brokering. Hey, LaDonna, how are you? And how is your family feeling? Hopefully everyone gets well. I know hubby's okay, but hopefully you and mom are getting better. Okay. So, freight broker 101 training for beginner. Mr. Charles, does the shipper really need a contract? I have one, but do I send it? LOL. Yeah, shippers you're going to either send the shipper your broker shipper agreement, or the shippers is going to send you an agreement and a contract and a tender for you to sign and agree to what they're offering. Okay, so that's how it generally works in most cases. In other cases, they'll ask you for your broker shipper agreement so they can fill that out for you to have for your records, and that's fine. But generally, if you want to take their freight, then you have to agree with their requirements, right? Either through a target rate or a lane quote. Okay. So, and Mike is correct. A customs bond is not the same as an FMCSA bond. It is two different things. Okay. All right. What else? Well, I told myself 30 minutes, and we're about at 30 minutes, so that's cool. I wanted to reach out. So every training I have, so Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we usually have the live Zoom Freight Broker 101 trainings. And then afterwards, I'll try to come in for maybe 30 minutes to an hour for a live YouTube channel to share with you and give you guys a synopsis of what we did in the trainings, because most of you who are subscribed to the channel are not enrolled in our Freight Broker 101 course. And that's fine, but at least you are subscribing to the channel. So I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong, right? And the same thing I do on the dispatching side too. The different days that we train, I try to get in on the lives on that side too. But this is Freight Broker 101. So my attention is on you guys now to see if I can answer some questions. and to see what your comments are and go from there. And we do it from a very basics perspective. We try to break things down granularly and gradually. So, all right. So if that's it is at 30 minutes and 11 seconds. I will salute you guys. Say have a safe weekend. If you are in an area where it's snowing, please be safe. It's coming down, accumulating. So, all right. And this stream will be on the channel. So I'll go ahead and end the stream now, but I can be reached at www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Email is exoduslogisticsllc@yahoo.com or info@exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Contact information 757-515-1684 or 757-695-9565. That's easy to remember, right? Freight Broker Trainings live on Zoom are Tuesdays and Friday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got to be mindful of whatever time zone you are in and make the adjustment accordingly. Okay. So you guys have a good night, and I will talk to you next time.